Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Bible Shorts, where the focus is going through scripture to help us see the principles outlined, to see the lessons that they are trying to communicate so that we can now apply these things to our own lives, right? So that we can live and experience life to its fullest, the way our Creator designed us to experience it. So we have a very interesting series we will be starting. So this will be the first one in this particular series. All right. So we have like a few main topics we're dealing with at the moment, but each one it would take a number of videos for us to really cover each one, right? So this one is called the inadequate human. And I think all of us could identify with this in some way or the other, right? Because of that feeling that we are more than we are manifesting right now, right? So I know this is like a general theme. It is not something uncommon. But how do we now respond to this feeling of inadequacy, right? So we would be exploring one of those ways in this particular video. So again, we have a deep desire, and I believe this is all of us, right? At some point in time. And it is a desire for more. And we can say, well, no, more is bad. There are philosophies that teach we really should have no desire for more. We should just be content with whatever little we have. And as much as this is true in some contexts, it is also misleading, because we would argue that this desire for more, it stems from truth, a truth that we inherently know, a truth that we are aware of in our hearts, and we are just not too sure how to go about dealing with it, right? We have this feeling we are more than what we are. So I am not experiencing or manifesting my full potential, right? So this deep longing resides in the human soul, a desire to become more, because we know we are more than what we see and more than what we can do, or more than what we have been able to do thus far. So one approach to dealing with this problem or dealing with this longing is something called transhumanism, right? And I am, I don't really have any great reason for starting with this topic. This just happens to be the first thing that really came to mind. And for those of you that are not sure what transhumanism is, it is a social and philosophical movement, right? So for me, this is very interesting. It is considered a movement. It has a philosophical approach to it, all right? So it has to do with a viewpoint of life, a way that people approach life. And this movement is devoted to promoting the research and the development of robust human enhancement technologies. Such technologies would augment or increase human sensory perception, emotive ability, or cognitive capacity, as well as radically improve human health and extend human lifespans. And this is very exciting. It shows how far we have come in terms of our intellectual and technological development, right? If you are like me and you have eyes that need tools to help you see better, I mean, the thought of probably technology being able to remove my dependency on a pair of glasses, right? I could have some some new eyes that could, even help, even give me like perfect night vision, right? I could have telescopic vision with these new technologically created eyes, right? Or for people who have gotten in accidents, who might have been born with, underdeveloped limbs and all of these different things. I mean, in any area of life, we can see how using technology to enhance ourselves could be of great benefit, right? Using technology to improve health. I mean, who doesn't want good health? Using technology to expand or extend our lifespan. Is 80 years enough for the things we would want to do, especially for people who have, right? For a poor man, a suffering man, he definitely may not want to live for 200 years, 300 years, if he has to live for 200 or 300 years in poverty and suffering, right? But for the wealthy, for the affluent, for those that have, for those who life is good, they would relish the opportunity to continue living on and enjoying life and all the benefits of it that they are receiving, right? Now, coming back to this word, because remember we said it is a social as well as a philosophical movement. But what is philosophy? And philosophy is simply a theory or attitude that acts as a guiding principle for behavior, right? And you'll see me doing this a lot, just really going back and forth. But coming back to the topic, the inadequate human. So there is a mindset that guides our actions and our behavior, our approach to life, where we see ourselves as inadequate and we can feel that it is our duty to improve ourselves. We are doing humanity a service by seeking to improve ourselves. And the way in which we do that is with the use of technology, right? Why would we not want to make lives better for ourselves? Why would we not want to improve on the things we see as weaknesses? Why would we not want to extend our lifespan, right? To enhance our bodies in such a way to increase strength, to increase agility, to increase our cognitive abilities, or in other words, to make us brighter, smarter, to make us stronger and faster, right? To give us better vision. What about things like making it so that we could breathe underwater? Why not? I mean, we have been fascinated with the whole concept of superheroes and superhuman beings for quite a while, right? And what if we could really, by the use of technology, make all these things a reality? So the idea that we are lacking and that this lack can be improved upon is one of the, or the thing really driving transhumanism. And just looking at it from a particular perspective, it seems very exciting and it seems very good, right? And look at this picture. We essentially are at the verge of being remade in the image of our own imagination. There are those like me who believe that all creation has a creator, and we as human beings have a designer ourselves, an intelligent designer. There are some who believe that there was no creative, intelligent force driving creation. It was just a matter of different processes coming together to culminate in the things that we see around us. And of course, all this happening over a very long time frame, right? But whether you believe in an intelligent creator or you believe that everything just happened by chance, right now, we can definitely agree that we are on the verge, and in many cases, we already have the ability to remake ourselves in our own imagination. And one of the ways in which we are doing it right now that is still very acceptable is creating avatars for ourselves, right? Where we can create our own fictional characters. But the real end game is to go beyond just making a fictional character. We want to create actual beings, right? So the whole idea is let us make a better human being. Let us make a human being that is not so easily prone to disease. Let us make a human being that can tolerate the different environments better. Let us make a human being that is stronger, a human being with a greater intellectual capacity. Let us make a human being in the exact form and shape and height and look and character traits and everything, right? We can design it to be just what we want it to be. However, what we would argue and what we believe is that our best is the image of our Creator, right? Because we believe that we were created by an intelligent Creator, we believe what is said in the Bible, Genesis 1:26, and God, the Creator, said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." And whether you want to believe in the Bible or not, whether you choose to believe in the evolution theories, the way they are taught in popular culture, we know for sure that human beings are the pinnacle of creation, right? There's no other animal that really comes close to human beings. Human beings right now as a species, we are in a position where we could destroy the entire earth if we wanted to, all right? Or if, we really lost total control of ourselves, we can destroy completely our own environment. We can wipe out and eradicate every other species or almost every other species that exists on the earth right now, right? Such is our destructive power. We are the only species that creates at the level that we do. We are able to conceptualize, right? To have a thought, to see something, to see different elements as they exist, and reshape and reformat all of those things to create something different. I mean, the human being is an amazing, amazing creature. And our argument is that this didn't happen by chance. We were designed in the image of an intelligent, creative being. And this is why we have intelligence and we have the level of creativity that we do. But at some point, we got disconnected from our Creator, and we would further argue that we were never designed to be disconnected from our Creator. We were never designed to function apart from our source. So this longing that we have essentially is our longing to go home. It is our longing to reconnect with our Creator, because what we believe is that as spiritual beings in a physical body, we have probably infinitely more potential than we can imagine. And I like to bring things down in a very practical sense. And what I love about the age we live in right now, I believe almost everything in the Bible, because of technology, we can have a reference point. So let's use same technology, right? Voice activation. What is voice activation? Is programming. You program the technology to respond to a command. So imagine if we can voice command our vehicles to start, imagine if we had that same power in creation, to function in creation, right? We could alter the environment to meet our needs at that particular point in time. We could augment the physical laws to allow us to walk on water, right? Would we need super strength if we could simply use our minds? Like, for those of you who into the comics and into the superhero genres, right? There are certain types of characters that have mental abilities. It is not a physical strength. What they are using is the power of the mind. What if we also have the ability to do all of these things, or we had the ability to do all of these things, and somewhere deep inside of us, we know that this is the case, but we have lost that ability. So we are left now to do the best we can with what we have. So we depend on technology. We depend upon ourselves. We depend upon our own intellect because we are trying to make ourselves better. And we believe we are moving toward something. But I think we have the whole process confused, or the whole the direction confused. It's not that we are trying to go forward. We are really trying to go back. But if we don't want to acknowledge that fact, we don't want to acknowledge that we were already made absolutely perfect. We were already made and given dominion. Now, when we say we had dominion, dominion in what sense? Right now, we are exercising dominion over creation, right? When I look at what technology can do right now, you look at something like logging or mining, right? There was a time when human beings, we had to use saws to cut down trees. So you could imagine how many trees we could cut down in a day using a long saw that two people had to operate, right? Then we got to the stage where we have things like chainsaws. But when you look at the size of these machines now, where up, in seconds, basically, one of these machines could fell a tree, right? You look at the type of excavators now used in mining, and it is ridiculous what we are able to do, the way in which we are able to force dominion upon creation using technology, right? But this is not how we were designed. And what I want us to see is, if right now we are blaming climate change and the effects of it on the way we have been using technology, right? What makes us believe that, well, if we do it even more, somehow we would start getting a good outcome? Most of what we have done continues to result in negative side effects, right? We dominate using force, we dominate using technology, but there's always negative side effects of that, because that is not how we were created to operate, right? But let me move on. So this is the big question we would ask at the end of this. If we believe that something like transhumanism, where we use technology to augment and improve on what we see to be the inadequate human, what is the outcome we hope to achieve? Can technology solve the human condition? And what is the human condition? Throughout history, the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. There have always been cultures that have been more technologically advanced than their counterparts. And those who were more advanced in terms of either military technology, agriculture technology, and so forth, you found that they rose to the top, right? And they would have used that now to dominate those around them. What has changed? as our use of technology has improved, as the scale of technology has improved and increased, has the world become a better place? Have we been able to deal with hate through the use of technology? Have we been able to deal with greed through the use of technology? Now, billionaires can be created in weeks and months, whereas that would have taken years upon years in the past. So people can get rich much faster today than probably any other time in history, right? Have we become better for it? Have we gotten more loving because of these things? Will technology solve envy? What is going to happen when now we have people being able to say, listen, we want to have a child, and these are the genetic or the character traits we want our child to have? What is going to happen when, people can start getting what they deem to be the perfect child? And then those now that who also have money decide, oh, no, 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 well, if that is your version, let me show you my version of what the perfect child is. Will technology stop exploitation? We say we want to start augmenting our cognitive abilities. We want to make ourselves smarter. Right now, we already have exploitation being carried out by those whose intelligence, for many different reasons, are increased. What do you think is going to happen when in the school system you have children with augmented abilities, and then you have people with augmented abilities coming out into the workplace? Do you think it is going to make for a more level playing field? Has technology and our use of technology made it easier for the poor to develop themselves? What about the way we feel about ourselves, that depression? Do we think that when we start using technology to perfect our inadequate human bodies, to recreate ourselves according to our own imagination, do you think it will make us feel better? We already have things like plastic surgery and all these things as something normal. Has it done anything for our self-esteem? Right? So as we wrestle with the thought of, should we make a better human being? And even as we consider the fact that we are already technologically able to do it, the only thing stopping this from being just whole scale across the world is something in our moral makeup, different influences on our conscience. As a human collective, we still feel this is not something we should be tampering with. Even though the technology is already there, the general public is simply not ready to accept something like this. And why is that? If this is so good and it could make us so much better, why are we holding back? We should have been running into this thing full speed, right? But you see, the human being is not as simple-minded as we make ourselves out to be. We have existed, we have access to history, we can go back. Technology is not anything new. And what I think everybody could see is that increasing technology, even as it improves some areas of life, it really does not solve the human problem. And one of the amazing things, even with nature, is that nature seems to match our advancements. So we come up with technology to deal with viruses, to deal with bacteria. Lo and behold, these simple creatures, these simple life forms, these simple organisms somehow find a way to adapt. So if we are saying, no, 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 technology will make us enjoy much longer life, are we forgetting the fact that even nature and these simple forms of nature have continued to match and keep pace with us? So if the more technologically advanced we get, and the more we attack nature with our technology, nature continues to respond. What makes us feel that somewhere down the road, we will just be able to completely dominate? You see, we cannot exist at that level of dominion that we are supposed to outside of our Creator, because we are supposed to be existing in a loving relationship with our Creator, and that love penetrating through us or permeating through us to reach creation. We are not supposed to be trying to dominate nature as if nature is something hateful that we need to keep in check. No, nature is supposed to feel and experience the love of the Creator through us, right? So, I personally do not believe that technology will ever solve the human condition. And I think we know that. We see it in the movies, right? And again, this is also people's imagination. But you see, what I like, some of these movies, they go down a very practical road, a very common sense approach. So, okay, technology is causing problems. More technology could probably cause more problems. The same technology that we are hoping will solve issues can themselves create issues. So the same technology that we hope will improve our health, we can have health issues because of this technology. Or as we even do things like AI, we want the computers to become self-aware. What if they become self-aware and realize that one of the biggest problems on the earth is these human beings that created them? And now they have the power within themselves to do something about it, right? So just within the movies and the TV shows, we have already looked at so many different scenarios in which this thing could go. And what you have seen and what we continue to see, in almost none of these scenarios do we end up with some sort of just this absolutely peaceful and beautiful utopian society, because the technology still cannot deal with the problem of the human heart, right? That sin condition that causes us to manifest all these negative behaviors, even when we have the money, even when we have the influence, even when we are not hungry and suffering, or else rich people will not have any negative things about them, right? It is only the poor people, and we could say, well, we'll blame it on the situation. Well, because they are poor, that's why they have greed. But why would someone who's sitting on the top of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, who can just spend money at their whim and fancy, why would they still not be happy? Why would they still have a desire to get more and get more? Why would they still be comfortable exploiting others? Because they are still humans with a human heart, suffering from the same human condition as all the rest of us, right? So I will pause there. I will stop there. We will continue to look at this topic, the inadequate human, from different perspectives. This was the first one, right? I think one of the ways we want to look at as well is the genetic side of it. I think we more focus on the technology, but there's also genetic implications, which should make for a very interesting discussion as well. All right, so folks, you know the drill, as we say. This is social media, right? Subscribe, like, share, invite others to participate, leave a comment, let us know what you think. We will continue to bring you more Bible shorts. We will continue to provoke your mind and encourage you to keep your eyes open to read the Bible, read in general. You do your own research. You will not always agree with our perspective, right? But one thing we will try to always do is bring you the truth as we see it. And there is only one truth, all right? Truth is truth. I hope most of us, we are really in search of the truth. And in order for any lie to exist, it must first have some sort of already established standard which we call truth, right? I believe truth is in the Bible, and I will continue to share from that perspective. So folks, let's continue to live and experience this life, and work to become better human beings. And with these Bible shorts, I hope that the information you receive will definitely help you to get there, right? Some of the Bible shorts, we will really go much heavier into biblical, the major biblical topics, things like salvation and all these things. So even when we say truth, right, what is that? Pilate asked that question. Pilate asked Jesus, so he said to Jesus, what is truth, right? What is your idea of that? So we will continue to bring a lot more topics. This is one series here, The Inadequate Human. Look out for more. And again, like, share, subscribe, do the whole routine, and you continue to have a blessed week, a blessed month, right? For you, we wish that for you and your family. All right, folks.